There we go. Let that load in. Hi guys, welcome. It's loading in. Excellent connection. Gotta check. Okay, cool. Hi guys. Oop, that's my phone saying. What's going on? Oh, I'm live. Thank you, YouTube. Okay. Gotta get that automatic email. Everything's starting up. Good. Got my fan going. So my whole house can be a little bit warmer. There we go. Let's see. Mic check on. Looks good. Okay, here we go. Alrighty, guys. Hello, hello. Hi, Sasha and Cool Guy. Welcome. Hey, there you are, Cookie. I was gonna say, like, hopefully you're around somewhere. Good to see you. Thank you. Alrighty. We're back again. Back at this again. Actually, I started a little bit early. Now it's 4. Okay. Now it's the hour. How you guys doing? So I've been pretty busy. Not really more busy than usual, but just like actually trying to focus on things and actually let's try and get things, milestones kind of to set up and everything, Nothing really much out of the usual. I'm playing Pikmin a lot. Pikmin Bloom. Oh, there you are. Hi, Ben. Ben H. There you go. Hey. Good to see you. It's great to see you. How you guys been? So bad at small talk. Small talk usually is just, how you doing? Cool. All right. Now I get to move on. More interesting things. Interesting to me. Yeah, I noticed that I just got into this frame and started to look at Derpy at this angle, and I kind of saw like her expression's pretty good. This actually really works really well with what happens with the apple kind of hits her, and then she's like, You don't really get to see it because this one's the camera one, so this is what it's gonna look like in camera. This is my working one on the right here. So, oh well, don't get to see that beautiful expression in full like this. It's gonna be like the side view, like that. This kind of creates this different kind of expression, I guess. How are we doing? Let's turn on these. So I think today we'll have a couple things that I can do. Let's try and turn some of these off. There you go. Alright, also simplify. That's what I was doing now. First, let's turn the material. Solid. Wireframe. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I did animate this slightly in the meantime. I wanted to work on it a little bit more than I did. But I kind of animated the tree to kind of wiggle a little bit more, but not much more than that. Unfortunately, to really get this going, there's so many different layers to this. This is, it's not as much more complicated or complex to animate than like 2D Flash or Toon Boom. It's just 3D allows a lot more dimensionality, where it's like, ooh, I can kind of animate things instead of just on the X and Y axis. It's like, oh, I can also do the Z and try and do things, from left to right this way, So it creates a lot more like, I have more opportunities to like go, ooh, maybe I can like bend this in a way that I probably wouldn't be able to think about in 2D, So stuff like that. How are we doing? Let's see. Don't need my pen. I do want the phone. I should have got the storyboard ready, but oh well. Basically, in the storyboard, her phone will fall when she goes through the tree. She goes through the tree, and then the phone falls. So it'll just fall down here and hit the floor. So, I was thinking of doing that. It's actually pretty simple. It's basically just a falling ball, but it's more metal. I have set this up with I'm going to have a different phone object. So let's find out where it is. It's probably in props, actually. Phone DP arm. So I'm just going to duplicate it. So now I got 2 of them. Let's rename it. So this is phone fall. And we need to clear all of the keyframes. Let's see. Phone fall. All of these. Beep. And let's see where it is. It's still there, so that's fine. I want to... Actually, these are okay. Let's see. So what I want is on frame 1 that it's going to be out of the screen. And so it'll just hang out with my Apple, I guess. Hi, John. Welcome. Oh, she is very cute. Thank you. I try my best to keep her cute, you know? Let's see. So I'm going to put the phone near the origin point down here with the Apple. Kind of hang them out together. Hi, Purple. Welcome, guys. Yeah, so I'm just keep plugging at this. How have you been? You guys been okay? Let's see. So I still have some animation. I need to clear the parent, I think. So let's clear parent. Beep. Now does it... It's still going. Okay. So... Yee. It's still... It's got a modifier on it. Child of... Okay, so I put an object constraint on it. Cutest damn. That's why I was moving. If you missed it, the phone kind of keeps animating throughout the whole time. So that's not what I want. So I'm going to remove this object constraint that I put on the other phone. The other phone has that constraint so that the phone connects to her hoof. So when I move her hoof, then the phone will move. So I'm going to remove the phone fall object constraint. And so there we go. So now it should be not moving. Still got keyframes though. So that's interesting. Excuse me. So now the phone should stay in its position. It's here now, apparently. And it shouldn't move because now there's no keyframes there. Cool. Okay. At least that works. I just gotta put it in the right position again. Now that there's a correct position to this, it's just kind of eyeballing it and kind of putting it sort of near the phone, almost on the side of it. There we go. So now she continue with the animation, so I'm playing it, and the phone doesn't move. Perfect. This is kind of like a little trick that video game companies do with cutscenes and you need like objects and stuff. It's just like video games always need. Here's the other phone. Video games always need the objects always loaded in. The models and animations and stuff always need to be not strictly animations, but at least I was thinking of the bones. The objects themselves always need to be in the scene, no matter what. So it's just like an easier way to easiest way to hide something is obviously just under the ground, unless you're gonna dig underneath like a Minecraft thing. It's like it's likely not gonna be seen, so it's just easy to kind of go underneath and go, where's my stuff? And go, here's my apple and here's my stuff. Something like that. Okay, so let's go back to keyframing. Alright, one more thing I need to do to it, but I can actually do this at any time, but I need to change the... I have a funny gag with this. I'm going to change the picture of the phone to now be this cracked screen with Derpy as a selfie picture. So I'm going to take the phone. I need to see that I'm selecting it. There you go. I need to make this its own thing. New shader. Call it the same thing so I know. Let me get some juice. My throat actually scratchy. Click it, and then here's all my UV mapping. Basically just tells Blender what to display. So I'm using these different pictures and colors to kind of say like, here's where I want you to, on the left side, what the picture I want it to be, and then in the 3D space where it's being mapped to on the actual polygon. So there you go. So now it's mapped on. So I already prepared this. So there you go. Just like so much when you leave replaceable body parts to the side of camera. Yeah, it's not like they disappeared. That's nothing like, and that's some quantum mechanics or something with that. Mass never, gravity, what is it? No, nothing's like destroyed or anything. It's always just moved around. Like energy is never like always, it's always something or just like conserved or something. Anyway, enough of physics. Don't need that nerd stuff going on. Okay, so we can now start to keyframe it. So if I put that there, that means she should stop moving. If we go back to the first phone, we should see that that's still good. Okay, I did this right then. That's his phone. Phone the arm. Wanted to change this name here to then be DP. I always do it as my shorthand for Derpy is always DP. I don't know why. Okay. Let's kind of make this a little bigger for me. And then with my phone prop, that's all set up. Go to the keyframe and go one frame forward, and let's kind of place it where I want it. So I can play with the rotation. Maybe in 3D space where I want it to like kind of start to fall. Can have it be like over here maybe. I can press R twice to like get a free roaming rotation. If I didn't do that, then I would just be moving against like one axis at a time. Here's like, I don't know, here's X, Y, and Z. It's all kind of messed up now, so it's kind of confusing what's actually going on. There you go. So this is the first frame, you see the phone. Zoom in on that. Okay. And then we just kind of see where everything is. Beep. Here's the next frame. Let's see it in here. So I'll have it be maybe just like barely off screen here. I'm looking over here to see through the passport tool. You can kind of see it there. So I just kind of align it where I want it. Kind of keep its force going, something like that. It'll be like this, more upright. So then when it falls, it'll kind of like fall there on the corner. I think that's what I want. I want it to like fall on a corner and then kind of bounce realistically as best I can. Gonna be pretty fast, but let's see. So forward 2. Let me just make sure my frame rules are on track. Okay, beep beep. This is where my onion skin might help. Let's see, update. Will I get on the phone, please? Try and drag. There we go. Hi, cartoons. Welcome. Little wave. Hello. See, my onion skin is going on Derpy, so that's a little clear selected. Onion to selected. Draw. There you go. So you can kind of see it. There it is. Would like it in here too. I don't know what it is. I'm just gonna keep it on until something happens. Well, at least I can see it and see that it. Ooh, look at that! Kind of goes further back. Do what I want. So I want to move it a little bit. I got proportional editing on. There you go. I just clicked the wrong one. There we go. So I can do this and kind of have it be going more closer to the camera. Camera's off to the right. Yeah, here's the camera. So, okay, so let's go forward 2. So now I can use kind of these both kind of tools to see whereabouts would I like it. I don't see my onion skin on this one anymore. That's weird. There it is. Okay. So it's rotating. And then actually if we fall a little bit further, I think. Beep, beep, beep. Yeah, see all these ones are kind of close to each other. So I can have it be further away. Kind of get that speed. Do. Probably also have to play with scale, kind of like make it taller. I think I can do something like that. Yeah, I can play around with these. Yeah, kind of squash and stretch it a little bit like that. Does this work? Okay. How you doing, cartoons? I need to see whereabouts my plane is. Just kind of get a little bit more center and get it out of me a little bit more easier. My side rotation is kind of in the exact middle, so that's not quite. It can be realistic to a point, but it's not what I wanted. But oh well. Do. Yeah, the squash and stretch is going to help a lot to, because I can squash it here, and then 2 frames later, kind of get it to rotate. So, wow. Rotate like that. Blomp, blomp. Down. Blomp, blomp. Rotate. Rotate. And then hit the floor. Something like that. And then I always like a little skid. Like to conserve that momentum. Beep, beep, beep. Lightning skin's gone. Draw. Update. There you go. I'm using a plugin by someone unfortunately don't know who made it. I'm sorry. There you go. Turn that off. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. There you go. I was watching on the left side, so I don't know what it looks like on the right. Not that it exactly matters. Okay. And to slow down in the middle is just to get that squash here. And then it goes back up. This could be a little bit higher. Hello, what is that? Sergio. I'm gonna get it one of these days. Hello, how are you guys doing? How's been your days? You got any wacky stuff? Anything going on? So I've been kind of been stuck in this kind of realm of trying to do all this kind of animation stuff, so I guess my life's pretty boring, huh? Just working and trying to get cartoons going. It's not interesting. Just playing. So like last stream, people got a little quiet because I was doing stuff that apparently were not quite as interesting, or I don't know. So I'm just making fun of that. So I'm trying to make small talk, but it's hard. Let's see. Let's move to scale, and I got these going. I deleted the keyframes there so I can have it be more free. Whoops, 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 whoops. There we go. Okay, where is the phone? Oh, the phone's down here, actually. On this frame. There we go. There it is. I can always update this texture, which is also kind of fun. In case I want to change this at any time. I know with some programs, some drawing programs, you kind of get stuck in some cases where it's like, oh, you're not allowed to be able to change and drawing, especially if you tween it, which is kind of what this is, but stop motion keyframing. So, yeah. Pointing this is scarce. Scarce. Pointing news. Yeah, the only sort of news is kind of a spoiler for the movie, so that's not quite super fun. With the series, you know how there's going to be a couple different specials. And apparently one of the specials is Holiday Dangerous or something crazy with that. But like they're gonna do it's like a weird scheduling of like doing some of the series and then a special and then some other stuff. Or there's gonna be like some like I don't know. I have to look at it again. So it's all rumors sort of right now. I don't think there's super news about it. Well, especially like Casper or whatever hasn't gone in and say, hey, this is our plan. You're gonna get this episode and then this episode and then the series and then something else, you know. All kind of being kind of hush hush about it, which is a little weird, you know. Oh, it's that way. There you go. I mean, it did talk about the 44-minute specials, but besides that, you know, it is kind of sparse. Didn't really know too much about what that really means. Oops. There you go. Update, draw. Boop, boop. Stop drawing. Now I need to reconfigure this. Let's put this back to ones. So I can do this. And then stretch it. And then not stretch it. This is where that numbers and like sliding little sliders can help a lot. If I figured out that driver stuff last time, I'd be able to just do stuff like this where I'm just literally just going 1.8 and then it gets me a number. And then it's just proportional kind of stuff. I want it to be 1 again. So, oh well. See how much time that kind of saves. Is it just like, I want a proportional number that's about this bout, so. So I was just going to be cleaning this up to see, like, is that really what I want? Or should I kind of... I'm going to go kind of slow, it kind of works. Whoops, it changes its scale mid-winter. Why is that? Oh, it's because these scales are trying to tween. Don't tween. There you go. Ah, that works. Okay, fix that. Okay, let's see. I think my tree kind of wiggles a bit too much. I can get rid of those keyframes, I think, because I can get to the bone that I animated when you guys weren't here. I was super by myself here. It's roughly around here. Let's get rid of all the keyframes of this bone that I wiggled. Yeah, there you go. Okay. That's pretty much it. There you go. What I would like to do is maybe add some extra stuff where I would like to add like some kind of... I did that last time where is there a way to annotate? Where I wanted to like make like some big like splash, kind of like big like kind of impact kind of drawing here. That's kind of, whoa, it's way in the background. We have these little effects that I like to do in 2D to like emphasize certain actions like that where things are going to hit the ground. It's a little bit more visually appealing to have some actual impact kind of effect. Show does it, G4 does it a lot, or basically anytime something hits something, there's always like a big kind of starburst. There you go, kind of a shape. There we go. So I got all the props all set up. Okay, what should we work on next? We got secondary animation with her hair, clean up with basic body stuff, her back legs and stuff. We'd like to maybe like work on her tail or something. What do you guys think? Yeah, stop. Update. Stop drawing. Turn that off. Let's go back to miscellaneous, turn her on, get all these out so I can see. What do I got working with here? All this stuff. How would I do the hair? I would work on, get rid of some of these. And all of these. Make the hair natural. Or hair, what is that? Arnold. Hair. Oral. I think I should use those ones. Because I think hair physics is like actual, I think something actual, something like, something crazy, like a force field or something. I'm not actually sure. Because there are like crazy stuff like this with force fields, or actually I can't get the regular ones. And in my movie in chapter 5, I used a wind modifier to like blow air and like simulate a cloth. I added the cloth to on the ship. There's a flag, and that flag kind of waffles back and forth. Kind of gets played by the wind, and so it's like have a simulated air physics object that its sole purpose is to blow air at this this cloth. And I was like, wow, that's incredibly probably more complex to like set up and try to understand than just trying to just animate it freehand. But it means that I can have that kind of a simulation going on for the entire time, you know. So it kind of works out, I guess. That's kind of what I'm doing with chapter 6 as well, as I've doing all these crazy like procedural textures, and like let me get like this round texture to be have like some very rough, very like textured pattern kind of texture to it. And it's like, well, I could, you know, either just make a really dumb pattern and just kind of do it in 2D and Flash and just make a design and then stretch that all over the plain huge environment thing. Or, you know, I could just try and play around with that there's a Blender kind of shading stuff where it can get really, really complex. Let me see if I can get that going. Yeah, this is the base body node system. This is a little bit different from the flag stuff. The flag was like an air, basically like a preset kind of thing. So it didn't use any shaders. Mine was manually animated little flag. Well, I wanted it to work in 3D space, and I guess that would have been just more kind of manual work. It's either just doing manual work for a long time or trying to figure out how to do it automatically. And they both kind of end up being roughly about the same amount of time, but with the automatic one, you're able to just put it into any scene, set it up to be offsetted by a couple bits, and you can like then play with a bunch of different parameters to say, oh, I want it to be stronger in this scene. If I did it manually, I would have to manually do different, you know, if I wanted like a low wind speed where it's just kind of like really low and flat, you know, and down, then I would have to animate that. But if I want it to be high, then it'd be really fast and stuff, and I have to either do 100 different permutations manually or kind of figure out how to set up to then be automatic. So I went the automatic way because I didn't want to figure out how to do it 3D and animated. So yeah, it wasn't like something like a big texture work kind of stuff like this where there's just so much There's literally math involved with the texture work. So yeah, it's kind of that artistic versus using computer, but most of the computer stuff you are still, you know, this is making it automatic, but you're still having to set this all up as a system. So it's kind of that, you know, use a rock or use a hammer to do a certain thing. It's like, well, they both had to be invented and figured out, and it's like, well, we had to spend a lot of time to make a hammer, and then that can then be used to do things a lot more faster. So just making all these crazy systems that then now I can use this to do more crazy stuff. So it's that weird time sink or not to actually do that. So I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel. What I wanted to do, let's do the hair. So let's get rid of the I'm still on the, there we go. Let's put the hair physics off. And so now if I go into pose mode, I should be able to move the hair. There we go. I think I'd like to kind of animate it. I think I'll probably animate it the same way that I usually do with a lot of my 2D work. So I'll just kind of move it back a little bit, just for now. Make sure it's not being, yeah, that's a good one. Not being clipped into her hair, her skull there. So it's just kind of going down the chain to see like where abouts do these need to start figuring this out. Obviously still trying to keep that curve to it. I think this is all good. I would like a larger bone to just move the entire head or the entire hair at one time, but this can still work. Okay, and the tail, let's move that up and then kind of move this down. So I'm just getting that, trying to see if I can just get a more natural kind of pose to this on the onset. So that looks okay. Okay, so I'm gonna have to work with, maybe I'll just work on the tail and just kind of bob that up and down, and then I can see what I can do. I'm gonna see if I can do, which one's that? Not that one. We're gonna see if I can do multiple bones at the same time and try to animate them. Not exactly. Maybe that's the wrong one for this one. Maybe not even need to do that one. Maybe just like down here might work. Let's see. Maybe I could just animate this. Animate her tail that's closer to her butt, I guess, because that animated her whole tail. So that's good. There you go. So I can see. I can fight. Okay, so I'm gonna see where my frame rules are, which just means I'm just checking to see where my, because everything's on 2s, so I have to make sure everything stays to that, you know, here's a keyframe, blink, here's a keyframe, hopefully. And then let's get in. So I can't see her tail until about here, so I can start animating her there. I'm gonna see the Z location of the root. So I get a couple keyframes here, so I can see visually, or not. Can I see both? Can I animate that and also see? Okay, never actually tried that before. I wanted to see if I can see both, but I guess maybe I can do this. Cube action. Let's see. It's more mature. So I can see everything now. I'll have to like find it. See location here. Find. This is where we break down apparently. So I want the rig. I want to see the root Z location. Find me a couple keyframes. Where are they? Show me. I see some blues here. That might not be it. That's probably not it. That's not it. Could be anywhere here. See some blues here. Is that it? Am I looking at it? There's so much. I would have to like hide everything, but then I won't be able to see the other ones. So I could probably just get rid of some of these. I don't need the apples. Apples don't do anything. These. Keyframe for that. No. Don't show me these. Phone fall. Ready rig. That's what I want. I want to see these. And I want to see all these. Wings folded. Don't need to see those. Sun tree, whatever. Tree, torso, armature for action. There you go. Okay, so now I have less to work with. Root. Z location. There you are. Maybe? Sorta. It's kind of weird. Let's see. Hi, two-tailed Derpy. Oh, I love your... Oh, I got 2 horses. Look at them run. Welcome. How are you? So I just wanted to see whether or not if I can see the, that, and... Where is this going? I guess I can also sort of... I can't exactly... I can, like, hide the view. Is there, like, a way to... In Toon Boom, this is actually a little bit really easier. Then I can like select 2 nodes or 2 elements and just kind of say like, hey, let me only see literally these 2 things. And I have to like click literally everything here. Okay, so now what I got is this keyframe there, and I can see the whether or not the keyframe of the Z location of the root goes up or down. Hopefully that'll work. I don't know. Because I can barely see it anyway. At least now I can sort of see it. Otherwise I have to like sort of eyeball it to see whether or not it's going up. So basic thing is if main object move, I guess what I can also do is do onion skin. See if that works. I think it has to be the whole ready rig body. Clear selected. Onions, draw. There you go. So I want to see the back too. So now I can see that. That might actually be a little bit easier. Oh well. Now I know a couple ways. So I can see from 2 frames before it was here. 2 frames after it's around there. So it helps me to see where are we going. So we're going down. Going down. So tail go up a little bit. Going down. So I'll just kind of go through every single keyframe here and just kind of determine whether or not this is going up or down. And then usually I found like the smaller motions the better, because if it gets too wild then it might be a little bit too distracting, you know. So just kind of say like, okay, here's like a pretty good middle ground for all that. And we're just gonna hide up in there. So that's about it then. So let's see what we got there. So it's just like this little wiggle to the tail to have a slight bit of life. Not too much, but not too much not, you know. So over here, this is where it's going to be a lot more drastic, hopefully. So we go to here. And so now we're going to get the tail to be pretty much flat. Follow that. So here. Kind of see my onion skin where it actually was. Looks like there's a single frame here. So I'll have to like straighten out the tail here. But I just wanted to get that first bone set up. Okay, this is where we hit. So we're gonna continue that motion of the tail, and we'll have it be the secondary motion. Probably also have the back legs also sort of continue with that, and we'll have it kind of up. And then we'll drag it. Probably also want to figure out a way to kind of rotate it this way. So it'll start to rotate more towards the ground. And then we'll set the rest of the bones a bit later. And we'll just kind of settle it out. So there we go. It has a little bit of trouble because I think it's actually being, let's see, take all of these, convert to constant. There you go. And saw a little change in there. Hello? How you doing? That should hopefully help. Excuse me. Okay. So I want to change probably this to be a little bit faster when it falls. Yeah, probably get to... So what I can do is take the keyframes from here and kind of select all the ones after it and just kind of boosh. It's a little bit slow. So I probably want to get rid of this one as well. So override it basically. And to make it even faster, get rid of the in-between. Maybe we get rid of this one. Let's get the ones after it and just push it. There you go. Oh, sorry for the onion skin. Freaking out there. Okay, cool. How are we doing? Good. Put that to home. Okay, I'm just watching it now. See what I think. Okay. So now I can kind of go down the rabbit hole now with all of these. Kind of do maybe the same thing. We'll see. See what I think. Don't have to do too much, but at least it'll be still somewhat useful to have. Woohoo! Let's see what I want. Probably like during the bigger motions I can do something like this. For when she goes down like that. Can have it be a little bit more wiggly. Kind of like fall through a little bit more. Even if the other one's a little bit more, kind of controls a little bit more, but oh well. So it kind of adds slight more bounce to it. Or a little bit more drastic of a rotation, you know. A lot of this is just trying to figure out the physics and go, okay, so if this was really happening, what should happen? Something like that. It's got these, got all these keyframes. Fortunately, I'm still a little upset that it kind of, I have like only active set, and none of these are kind of, you can set these to like be an active set and like kind of add keying set. I guess keying set, I don't know. Basically like you can set like different channels, which are like these different parameters, X, Y, Z's as different channels, to then say, hey, I really don't think I'm gonna animate the Y scale channel. Can you like not make a keyframe on every single time that I move only to X location? Stuff like that is still like a little bit annoying. It's like, please no, why? Let's see. So I can kind of go down a little bit here and see. Let's turn off. Stop drawing. So this will help it be more flat, I think. Something like that. Am I on 3? Yeah, that's the camera angle. Kind of twist this back a little bit there. There you go. Do 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 do. Let's kind of overbend it for more comedic effect. Do 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 do. Boom, boom. So I got huge kind of change in pose there. Do, bop. And this is where I would add like an impact starburst. So then the that can also kind of help it sell the impact a little bit even more, you know, for this. Let's kind of rotate this back up and then start to rotate it back. Like as if the base tail is kind of what's dictating it to rotate back. So I have to like move this one, move the base one all the way back. Okay. Bye, I think Sasha, hopefully. Thank you. Yeah, we'll have to realign all these back. Kind of flip. Do. Let's see. Still kind of lift it up. Maybe it's a bit too much rotated. I'm sorry. It was just like halfway. So then it can kind of flop a little bit like that. And this can be lifted up. Because you want this to feel like this is like the, it's easy to think of it as like the angle of like where it's being being dragged from. So basically like a paintbrush that's being in the wind. So where the tip is basically where it was before. So like up here. So it's going to keep following that, but the main action is being the bottom of the, where the butt is where the biggest change is. So like the top bone is trying to still be, the farther you go out like to the tips, that's where it's going to be from the similar pose from like the last position. So pose A, pose B. So you can see like the butt changes the most, but then the top, the tips like to stay in place. So that creates drag and a little bit more realistic movement, hopefully. So the tips want to stay where they were, and the butt wants to move. That's an easy way to think about that. So the butt wants to move all the way back down. And then just start to keep these to be where they want it to be at the beginning. But then the butt says, nope, we're gonna be like this now. Something like that. Beep, beep, beep. So any more keyframes of that? Not much. So I can start to say like, oh, the tips want to be back where they were. But they also gotta eventually kind of curl back out. So we're gonna kind of get it to be a little bit more like that. Is that what I want though? Ooh, it kind of is why you don't want to do it on ones. See if I can like select all these bones, select all the keyframes, set the constant. Still a little bit off, probably like the frame rule. That's what I was afraid of. Yeah, that it's frame roll is a little bit off. Yeah, see how the from where the root and the head body kind of move at the offset by one pose. Ah, nah. So I'll have to select all these. See where the keyframes are for everything. Select all the bone folders and see where did I go wrong. So just pose here, beep. Let's see here. It's trying to move. Where I don't see a keyframe though. This must be something in here. I'll just have to go through each one of these maybe. Constant. Constant, please. That doesn't do anything. This has some constant. See, these have something. Might have to. Let's do this. I'll have to go through the entire thing. So I'll have to open up everything here. Here's every keyframe for the whole tail. And let's just see if we can select everything. It's so much. Okay, so where did it start? So we're gonna go to here, and we're just gonna start from here, and just kind of, yep. Give me a second. Can I make this? Can I scroll up? I cannot scroll up. That is interesting. I can also see taller as well. I can only kind of do this. Why did you do a screen at a time than just to say, hey, please, just to make sure that everything is being keyframed correctly. I know nothing is going to be linear anyway, so I think this is probably not my fault with the keyframing then. Let's see here. Let's go back to all these. So I'm just cleaning it up to see something bad happens. So I'm just gonna look through each one of these. So I see a keyframe here. So I'm not sure exactly where that is, because that's not any of the bones here. There's no keyframe on it. It says there's a keyframe here. And it obviously moves. So where... Which one would it be? Let's take this in. It's this one. What? Because I'm looking at... Does this bone move? Between... Oh, sorry. Here. Here. Is it this one? That kind of moves. What I can also do is kind of copy and paste that pose to be kind of for the next couple frames. So it'll be for sure stay in the same place as before. Copy and paste that frame, so now they'll kind of stay. That's also moving these ones. Interesting. I'm not actually sure what's going on. At least I know this is not exactly the right way to do this, but this can kind of settle this. It's probably because there's no, I don't know, there's no keyframe here. So I'm just going around each of these and saying, please literally stop what you're doing. Now the tail stopped for that keyframe. Cool. Sorry, I got really into that. Hi, Elijah. You're almost, yeah, you missed the majority of this, but there's still plenty of stuff to do. There's plenty of more stuff to figure out what's going on with all this as well, so don't you worry. There's still a lot to do here. Still a lot to do with all this sort of stuff here, so don't you worry. Gotta make sure every keyframe here works. Look at we go. Okay. See, it's still going. So I want it to be still here. I want it to be still on this keyframe. But it's not. It's not. Basically, it's just not. Inside all these. So what's all this? Constant. Constant. Linear? Oh, look at it go. It's kind of smooth. I've already set it to constant. It's possible that frame rules are on, but no, it's I'll have to figure that out, but that's a mystery. Interesting. Huh. I'm not actually sure. I haven't run into that problem where I'm trying to make it literally be constant and it's like, how about no? I'll turn these on. It's possible that these literally not being on can actually, sometimes that can actually break it sometimes by having some of these not be visible. Can break it. No, it's not. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I'll have to look into these curve editors to see whether or not these are moving or not. Let's back to like the tail. Tail, this one. And let's open it up. Can I just select all of these? Just trying to highlight them. And see, what do we got? It just zooms on nothing. It's not even probably any of these either. Who knows what that was? Who knows what this point even does? That's the fun part. Is I don't even know what this point does something. I have literally no idea. When I looked at the channels for this tail, is that what it is? Is it this one? No. Where is it? What are you highlighting? I have no idea. Oh, great. Alright. It does something. It's the root. Where's the root? Just trying to select one of them. Oh, it's this one. And then here's the root and then the Z location. That's what it zoomed in on, I think. Because I remember animating this. I remember animating it in this graph editor. So, yeah. Because that's the one I wanted to look at. Maybe I can pin it. But a pin it will always make it there. So that's sort of good. Turn all these, just turn all these back on, I guess. Move everything. Make it way more complex to look at. Not that it wasn't already, but you know what I mean. Hide whenever it's open. Gotta close it. There you go. So somewhere in here is my information that I want to see. Oh my god. That's the problem, is that every single object in here has like 9 channels, so they're all being listed in here. So even if they're not literally doing any change, they can still be listed in here as like that's a thing. Let's see. So it could be in here of my worry. This sounds so interesting. Looking at this. Oh wow. Is this the apple? I think this is, yeah, it's the apple. Huh. Doesn't quite look like the linear or the constant kind of animation, but it's still kind of looking weird. Oh, this is pretty sus. Anyway, hi Pradra. Welcome. Right on time. I'll show the animation of what we got so far, and then in toast time we can decide whether you guys want to see more of this. Boop, 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 boop. What I want to do, I just want to turn these off and then show this off a little bit better so you can kind of see everything. Okay, so obviously the tail, I was trying to fix the tail animation because it's a little wobbly, but as just a basic keyframe block out, it's pretty good. So I'll probably have to fix that up and probably reanimate it. Might be easier at this point. It's very what I would fix is that it's too floppy, I think. Probably just needs to be as fast as how Derpy like gets up when she's like on the floor, have it so like she just kinda have the tail just kind of whoop, just whip back. So I mean just making having less keyframes, or deleting the keyframes that are more intermediate from like it being kind of like close to up to like where it's going to be in the down position, have less in the medium position would make it go faster. So stuff little like that, and then I can play with the more nuanced little, because there's like 10 other bones in the tail, so stuff like that needs to be also addressed. Maybe. Depends on how complicated I want this to look. But yeah, okay. We'll go to this time and I'll read your cookie message because I see it. Okay. Okay. Hello. Let's see. Would you like my... Oh, my ink's over. Thank you. I think it should do more frames because that's good stuff. Thank you. Yeah, that was, I think, spending, I spent a lot of time on it. You know. Looks like it, yeah. So I don't think it touches this down realistically. It's looking good. Yeah, I'll look into it more. Yeah. Obviously just trying to block it out, you don't, before you block anything out, it's like really hard to visualize what it's, you know, gonna look like. So kind of did that kind of straight ahead with the way that I animated the tail. So I did figure out the kind of rest position, but it just kind of, that didn't quite look good, which is, you know, one of my rules is make sure that all your key poses are perfect before you in between. So because That's a good tip for animation, is to make sure that your keyframes actually are what you want it to look like. Because you can spend who knows how long trying to make it kind of work, but try to get all the in-betweens to like kind of work, but if you watch it back and go, oh, that doesn't look good, it's more likely that your keyframes are just in the wrong pose, and you're just trying to intermediately kind of squeeze into each from one pose to another. That's usually why motion doesn't quite work. Also, watch your arcs. You know, arcs are when what is explained with the tail and the tip, like a paintbrush. Like the tip of the tail is being dragged down. So maybe I was being too liberal with that kind of drag motion. It should have just been a little bit more. I made the tail a little bit too floaty as well. Yeah, needed more weight. So if it was if it flopped down faster, that'll imply more weight to it. You know, so a lot of stuff I didn't quite do. So whoops. Let's see. In the frame by frame Inktober stuff, yeah, I definitely spent probably the longest time I've worked on something like that, on that kind of a frame by frame project. FBF, that's a little bit harder to say actually. Trying to make it a little bit easier for me to say, but nope. Yeah, the Inktober, if you haven't seen it, did I link it in the Discord? I think I did. That was really fun to work on. I did that as straight ahead as I possibly could. That was really fun. Where I drew one frame on one real piece of paper with real pen each day. So one frame a day. And start from the beginning and go to the end. Yeah. So I worked really hard to make solid drawings and try to do my best, try to do the best I can to have the pumpkin kind of stay on model as best I could. I realized that the eyes kind of get a little bit small, and little kind of lines kind of go away sometimes. Because I usually would reference like the last drawing. So if I was on frame 8 and on frame 7 I forgot to draw one line, that means on frame 8 that I don't draw that line. You know, so like some features will slowly morph and distort over time. So I've definitely tried to, if I did this again, I definitely would try to look more into making sure that that's all good. Or like always reference the first frame and make sure that nothing's falling out of line. And that's what you're supposed to, that's not quite the way you're supposed to do it. More pros and more professionals would do more keyframe blocking outs. At least that's how I've heard a lot. A lot of tutorials. I guess it's just easier to teach, you know, instead of like trying to do it straight ahead is a little bit tricky to kind of explain like what's going on. I guess it's actually more confusing to then say like, oh, here's on frame 1, here's our pose. Then by keyframe approach, it's like, oh, on frame 10 we're gonna be here. Okay, so let's go back to frame 5 and figure out what the in between is, and that is, and then 2, 3, 4, what's in between 1 and 5, and it's like, whoa. If you're not following along, it's like, where are you in the timeline kind of stuff. So yeah. I did for the Inktober, I did make a whole bunch of little drafts and little sketches. I had a little sketch piece of paper, and I drew out different poses. I drew it very rough to make like, here's where the pumpkins get squashed down, here's a picture of that, and then here's where the cat comes out, and then write out different numbers for like, oh, I think I'll have like 2 keyframes of it being squashed down, and then 3 going up. And so I mathematically tried to figure out like what kind of pose I needed for every single day, and try to actually figure it out first. So I planned it out first. I basically had a very rough X sheet, dope sheet kind of style thing where I did figure out like, okay, here's on frame 12, I match up with the drawing that I drew with my sketch, and then make a detailed version of that. They were really rough. Trying to think. I don't think I shared those yet. They're really fun. Yeah. Let's see. No. It's okay. Cookie, you did a couple animations. Do you know what kind of style you usually do it in? Do you do straight ahead or frame by frame or some other kind of hybrid of that? Because usually with my stuff, I like to storyboard it, which I guess is sort of drafting it, blocking it out beforehand. I usually do those pretty keyframey, and I might have some maybe in-betweens and stuff. So storyboards are pretty much like a almost like black and white version of the animation, and then some very like other intermediate drawings might not be too included, but then the puppet rig can then just kind of follow along with the timing of that and just kind of pick out the poses from the storyboards and work from there, you know. Pose. Okay. Yeah. It's my way that I just described it. It's kind of a little bit more elaborate kind of style of that, where it's kind of this frame by frame or pose to pose keyframing style with storyboards, and then I use my puppets on top to then pose into those poses, just storyboard poses, try to match my puppet poses to the storyboards, and then kind of time it out from there. So if the timing doesn't work or some intermediate drawings I need to like add in, then I'll just kind of add those in. So makes it real easy to see if something's wrong before you spend time trying to make the puppet, then, which is a billion times more complex than stick drawing. That's why I like drawing very loose and draw stick ponies for storyboards, because it's like I'm gonna feel much more contained and more claustrophobic if I have this beautiful storyboard drawing that's like, oh, this is like a work of art, you know, with a storyboard. If it's like too well rendered, then it's like I don't want to change it. And I feel like most of the storyboards that I usually do, I like to change things a lot. Like I revise my storyboards like 3-4 times at most for each shot, you know. So then it's like, okay, now I feel more comfortable with what this shot will look like, and then I start to then play with the puppets. Because puppets take a lot more time to figure out a key pose, and because that's then like the final one of the animation. So yeah. Doing 2D straight ahead is just as comfortable. Exactly, I agree. I always draw the keyframes first, figure out the timing, then add as many frames as needed in between. Yeah, it's hard to know like with how many in-betweens you should do. My kind of style is more closer to stop motion, or at least less tweens, less tween heavy, so I guess less on ones heavy. I like having keyframes on 2s and 3s. It's great to kind of secretly kind of hide some imperfections when you kind of really study it. It's like, oh well, you know, you have a key pose here, here, and here, and it's like if you kind of go through that, yeah, kind of fast. It's like, it kind of works when the kind of motion that you wanted was like a whoop, you know, there's no like up here kind of motion. That's kind of if you have a weird keyframe, it kind of hides it a little bit better. Because then if you start to put that on ones, you know, whoop, 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 then it's like, oh, that looks more deliberate. Yeah. Let's see now. Yeah, straight ahead usually means that you're just going, straight ahead is when you draw frame 1, you draw frame 2, 3, so on. Which means that if you're not using onion skin or not flipping back and forth or like referring to an older drawing, things tend to go off model, which means that maybe a character's ear starts to get smaller over time because you keep like drawing it smaller and smaller each frame. And so little distortions kind of creep out over time. So that is what happened with my my Inktober animation, is that it kind of deformed over time, but then I started to refer back to my first drawing, and then kind of started to go back into that right proportions again over time. Once I started to like, oh yeah, it's supposed to have like this line here, and then its eye is supposed to be this big. Once I referred back to it, it's like, oh look, this is what I was supposed to do. This is what it's supposed to look like. And then I had to like start to like in between, like, oh, the eye got too small, so I'll have to in between the first drawing and the previous drawing, and with the new drawing, it's like, oh, it's somewhere in between that size, and then it can kind of get bigger over time. Kind of weird stuff like that, yeah. Supposed to have frame by frame 2D. Yeah, I sort of I knew what you meant, but yeah, with Flash and stuff, it's usually with Flash. I mean, with Flash you can do traditional frame by frame and puppets. So Flash isn't. To me, Flash means puppets, but maybe someone else, like a Newgrounds person or who knows who else. I don't know who's else using Flash. People are maybe are think of Flash as a traditional. So yeah, but more even Toon Boom you can still do traditional. So obviously there's no like. There's that other one. That has bones and stuff in it, where it's like more puppeted based. I forget what it's called. It's not Fire Packet. Fire Packet is like a drawing thing. A tool like that, I'm thinking, I think it was really expensive, and I was like, I don't want to get it. Yeah, something like that, where the difference between Flash and puppets versus traditional, yeah. Because you get with puppets, you automatically get your everything on model for free, for the most part. I mean, obviously, if you start to like making ear symbol smaller over time and then do it straight ahead, then obviously it'll keep that scale parameter in the computer. So over time, it'll continue to either get smaller or it'll stay the last keyframes scale, you know. So you have to be really careful when you do like blocking and keyframing with puppets, because then you have to just make sure that what I like to do is just make not really. I was gonna say what I do, but then I realized that I don't actually do that. So most people do, or maybe some people, I don't know who really does it, but you can have like go to your different key poses and have a keyframe on literally every single element in a puppet, and go to the next keyframe and have a keyframe on every single piece of the puppet, and then start working around that. So then you would at least have what I was imagining was that they were like basically T-posing whatever the T-pose of the default position of the puppet would be on each keyframe, and then you pose it into that position. But actually that's not quite too good either, because then you might like not know too much of arcs, like if it arms at an angle, and then on the next keyframe after that it would be might not be in the right position. So I guess what I do is actually closer to straight ahead with puppets. I think it's a little bit easier actually to have it be straight ahead. It's weird to think about, but it's like it essentially is. I just kind of figure out like where my storyboards and my animatics I have the keyframes, and then I just kind of time around that to say like, okay, I know at my storyboard says at frame 20 we're at this pose, so like a couple keyframes before then, or frames, like on frame 15 or something, I know I should start leaning into that next pose, you know. But I still do it sort of straight ahead, where it's like, okay, let's just kind of have a reverse of direction first, in anticipation, and then start to move into that pose. And then by frame 20, we should be roughly there. So that's more my way of animating with puppets, is that, yeah, just kind of know when I want to get to the next pose, and then just kind of go back a few frames and then start to like make it go into that pose. So I feel like it's a little bit more natural, a little bit. That's like, okay, like if something's talking, and then you can kind of lean into that pose a little bit better or more naturally than having it try to be more have a clear pose already dictated, and then try to get into that pose, which usually doesn't always work, because then I always have to, my direction or my arcs are usually a little bit off. So I feel like I still gotta repose if I had a keyframe there, I would have to still kind of fix it. So it doesn't always work for me. Because I remember doing some animation back in Fall of Celestia, where I did do a couple shots where I kind of did with the puppets. I did that kind of key posing, where I had a head and body pose to a specific a pose at like frame 30, let's say, and then I tried to then, as a proof of concept, like, look at this. Here's my daily. I know I don't have it's not quite animated completely yet, but at least look at my blocking to see, like, this is what my attention is. And I was like, okay, here's what I'm in a complex scene. Here's where they should be and what kind of pose they should be at certain poses or in certain times. And I was like, okay, cool. Got the clear. And I was like, okay, let me start animating it. And I was like, oh, my arcs are completely off with these poses. It's like, I could have just, there's so much work to like kind of smear it around and kind of go, this pose, your arm is supposed to be, So I just got way more complex of trying to use the key pose and trying to lean into it when my much more jazz style, like trying to, before that pose that I had, I started to like, jazz it up and go, okay, here's, whoa. And I might have an arm randomly go up a little bit, and then the key pose has it down. And so it's like, okay. And then I'd be too late to try and get back into that pose quickly, or just be unnatural to have it go whoosh, put the arm down too fast. So it's like, I could have just done it the way that I'm used to and just kind of do straight ahead, but always refer to a storyboard that has timing and posing to then kind of work around it. So that's why my storyboard is usually off, because I'm usually always making my own interpretations of the animation and what they can be, and then trying to add more time into like making poses a little bit longer and have them exposed for longer to get more out of each pose a little bit too, and then try to make sure that they get their due and try to get to the next pose without being too hurried, I guess. So it's this weird balance of trying to make sure that you still kind of, I'm still hitting the poses and still trying to get the story done, but get the story beats, but also like I'm not being strictly to my storyboard animatic timing 1-to-1. Because remember with the chapter, I don't know, the whole movie, with the whole movie animation, I'm always like, my storyboard's too fast, because I had nothing really to really go off on or really know like how much I'm really gonna add into these scenes. Like I like improv and like ad lib so much stuff into this into my puppets animation that my storyboards are just not able to keep up. And it's like all these storyboard scenes are like, oh, I'll have the storyboard scene be like 30 frames, and then I get to it, it's like, whoops, I wanted to do a little bit more, like add a little bit more punch, like make it a little bit slower, and then it becomes like 70 frames. So like a lot of my animatics were like each chapter is like 50% slower or faster. Let's see. Yeah, my storyboards are like half as fast, twice as math. My storyboards are twice as fast as my animation. There you go. A lot of time. Because not to say that I'm bad at storyboards, I guess, but I just feel like when I get to actually animating, I feel like, oh, I have a new idea. Let me try and test this out, and usually just play with the puppets instead. Because then that's a little bit easier. But yeah. Let's see though. How you guys doing? Is this too complex? Is this interesting? Switch me getting going in a little bit. Let's see though. Just check my phone and see if there's anything uber important. Nope. Okay. Hi. Yeah, it's remember like last Tuesday we were trying to figure things out. Oh, let's see. As I'm seeing plenty of servers that can predict the time in advance. I know with TV animation, they really want it to be like per frame, like figured out. This is how long this shot will be to the frame. Like your shot better be 48 frames or else. Kind of like that kind of strictness, just to make sure that if they have overseas animators, then it becomes less logistics to figure out, or less complex logistics to figure out, like, don't want an overseas animator to be like me and say like, oh, I feel like this shot should be 7 7 seconds long when you want it to be 2 seconds. Oh well. So you want it to be like more like on the dot with TV production. That's what I've heard, is that you want it to be really precise. Obviously, when I do my own animation literally by myself, and I'm the only one to blame with a lot of this stuff, then I have more leeway. But I believe what I've heard is that with TV animation, they want it to be like very precise. Yeah. That you get the exact amount of drawings or frames, you know, and then that's it. Like, you know, if something doesn't fit, oh well. Because the storyboard and animatics are like the keystone to like animation. They don't get as much respect, I guess, anyone else. If people are being not even in credits anymore for some reason, that's another thing. Yeah, that storyboarders are like basically making the cartoon. They truly are, and animatics are making the video version of the storyboards. The storyboards are just like these little comic drawings that kind of tell you a rough or very precise version of the cartoon. So they're very, very pivotal to make sure that because if a storyboard doesn't quite work or timing doesn't work, then the rest of the cartoon doesn't work, basically. So you really got to make sure your storyboards are on point. Otherwise, you'd be wasting a lot of time, you know, saying like, oh, I want Volcano in this scene, and then we decide like, let's change the camera halfway through, and then it's like, oh, the volcano's not there in that angle, and it's like, whoops. All the people who would have started to like make it and rig it or whatever, it's like, yeah, didn't need it. So you gotta be really careful with that kind of stuff. Yeah, excuse me. Alright, hello Marco. How you doing? Just about wrapping up on this. You can watch the VOD later when this is uploaded, so you can watch all the fun keyframing I did. Trying to figure this out. Let's see though. Yeah. So, for next week, we should probably decide, like, do you guys want to see more of this? So what else will we be doing? Because I can clean up, basically, what I've done today as well. Get some more cleanup work on maybe the body a little bit, maybe some of the facial expression. I think if it's basically just do a cleanup of everything, might need to be in order. And I also have to figure out what I want to do with the impact little graphics. Maybe make a background every time. I don't know. Depending on how long each of these streams take. Streams are a little bit too fast. I can't quite do all my agenda. Oh well. Yeah. So there's still plenty of stuff to do, but it'd be kind of the same kind of what we did today. Kind of how much we get to do. Let's see. Do for Bob Ross. The last Bob Ross was that 3D one, so or did the 3D environment one, and that took like a month or more. You sure you want to be? Yeah, for that, everyone. Oh boy. I'd definitely be down for it, but I don't know if it's what kind of trick I would do with it. Is can't use video versions of Bob. Can't do it live. Can't have a little picture of Bob anymore. Or else I'll get a copyright notice. So gotta be more clever with what we do with that. If we do something like that. Yeah, I was just wondering if you know, if the complete unanimous consensus is don't work on 3D Derpy anymore, then obviously I can stop. And then we can do Bob Ross, and who knows what else we can do. You know. But if someone else was like, hey, I sure do like this 3D Derpy, let's keep working on it, then I can keep going, you know. For them, you know, gotta do for you guys. So I don't know what you guys like it these or not. Let's see. Maybe try a different artist exploring there and follow. Whoa, there you go. What was his name, like Mark or something? I have to look at it again. Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of people. People I can It's hard. I'm just so like don't want to, scared, anxious to talk to people. So I don't know. That'd be tricky. I have no idea what I was thinking of that. I'm trying to collab with a YouTuber or something crazy with that. I don't know. Guess I kind of did that with you guys with Cookie Inspire, but and legit. That just kind of happened. Yeah. I was gonna do a couple polls. I guess I can do that. Where would it get the most attention? Because usually even my YouTube analytics is a little bit, what is it? YouTube community posts usually don't get as many retention. There's so many thoughts in my head. Let's see though. Hello. Good morning. How we doing? Yeah, so I'll do probably like a couple of different, maybe each day. I have like 3 different ideas for polls. So I'll probably do that each over the weekend. Thankfully I don't have to do any more of these streams for until next week, so that's good. Don't have to worry about that. And I'll keep working on my movie. I posted a couple pictures on my Patreon. Link in the description is a link to the Patreon. So you can join up there for starting at $1 a month. Then you get to support me, and you get to see behind the scenes stuff. So there you go. Win-win. Yeah, they're really fun. I got a whole bunch of different posts. If you haven't joined up, there's like tons of different secret stuff that they're all exclusive, hopefully. Behind the scenes stuff. Adobe Chapter 5, I uploaded a whole bunch of different assets, from like music to storyboards, concept art, 3D stuff, all sorts of stuff. Whole bunch of different files and updates for you guys. Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, I guess I can't really say what next time will be, because that might be part of the poll. Would be, should I continue with the 3D Derpy animation that we've been working on, or just kind of say like, I'll just kind of work on it in the background when I have time, and then clean it up and finish it, and be done with it. I don't know how long it'll take more to do. Even on if I do it on stream, I don't know how long it'll take. You know, because when I do it on my own, I usually spend more quality time on certain things. Make sure everything's kind of polished and ready, and then I move on to each next different element. So usually my thing. So it's kind of hard to kind of really gauge that as well. What how long it'll take. So I don't know. Mostly just me kind of dawdling in the stream to kind of work on things. So the big thing I guess today was to get the the phone down. The really interesting next thing I guess would be the graphic for the impact stuff, which might be like 10 minutes or something less. So stuff like that won't take the whole stream. But if I combine it with other couple of stuff like the cleanup and stuff, so who knows? It's more or less finished. May as well wrap it up off stream. And that's why I'm like trying to figure out whether or not if people maybe that don't think like you, Cookie, you know, would be like, hey, what do you mean you're just kind of stopping this? Where did they go? You know, we've been following along, and you didn't even show us how you finished it. Oh man, kind of people. I don't know who that is, but it may be you. So you know, gotta think of that too. Anyway, we'll see what happens next time. It'll be a surprise for me to know. Anyway, I'm trying to wrap up, so I'm trying to click on buttons to close this up. So, okay. With that then, I'll say goodbye then. Thank you guys so much. Hope this was somewhat interesting, you know, kind of cool. I don't know. Kind of fun just to see this, me tinkering out with 3D stuff. But otherwise, hope you guys have a good day, good night, and good morning to you, Twilight Profile. But yeah, thank you guys. I'm gonna go have dinner. You guys stay healthy. Thank you. Okay. See you next week. Alrighty. Goodbye.